going to have this intensive program. It's going to start August 8th. You still have time to get in if you have not registered yet. The classes are going to meet 3 times a week. They're going to be on the evenings and the weekends because we're really pushing this for the working professional or someone who's already starting their brand. Perhaps you need to continue working as you're doing this brand. Perhaps you graduated our certificate program or another AAS or a BFA in fashion design, then you are absolutely eligible and this is the place for you to be. You can also be in this program if you are on your last quarter of the certificate program. So this is a roadmap of what we're going to discuss today. And we're going to be doing these processes throughout the entire program. So for the next 6 months, you will focus on all of these areas and it will culminate in New York Fashion Week. So what it's really about is enhancing the creativity and really building your skill level to a professional level and being able to network with the fashion industry. So we want to boost your career. We want to be able to talk about you the way we talk about Cintel and Cleopatra and Linda, who showed in New York Fashion Week. I don't know, I'm still admitting people, just so you guys know. We want to have these images of you and be able to talk about you doing it. And what you'll be doing is you'll be working with a team of entrepreneurs and consultants that are already working within the fashion industry so that we customize your learning specific to your career goals. So like I said, you might be a draper, you might be a pattern maker. We want you to be mentored in that area because we have the expectation that you're going to build an 8-piece collection plus 1 collaborative piece for New York Fashion Week runway show. Your best design will absolutely be shown, and then it depends on how many other designs you actually want to show and what gets passed through. So we're going to talk more about that. So it starts and it ends, and all the way through, it's all about your creative process. And we want you to be able to create this work of art with your hands and have the skill set level of a professional that will start from the moment you start this program with your mentorship through the end, culminating in New York Fashion Week. The design process is really about challenging you to think and open up new ways of how you will sustain yourself and your future as a creative thinker. It will almost be a platform for you and an idea generator in the sense that you will have the opportunity for 6 months, really technically it'll be 5.5 months of you creating consistently. And you will take 10 various case studies and interviews with designers and break those down so that you can uncover how other designers that are actually doing what you want to do have continually looked for inspiration in developing their products. So you'll take this 3-step case study approach and you will conduct your research and then interpret your inspirations to develop a creative process that will be your own and very specific to you, with the help of mentors that are actually at the top level of their career in the creative industry. So brand identity and communication. Brand identity and communication will actually happen simultaneously as the other classes will as well, in order to build up to that culminating New York Fashion Week. So it's a design approach to branding in the sense that you're going to adhere to the technical system of creating a brand identity and the process of building that, which includes color palettes and logos and the business side of protecting your brand and how you do that as an emerging designer. But really more importantly, go back to your creative process and make it unique and your own by communicating your brand in the context and the atmosphere that works for not only you and the story that you want to tell, but also for the environment in which we're in. And so one of the biggest things right now in such a saturated market is that you are very specific in your storytelling and communicating that level, whether it be a soapbox that you want to stand upon and its sustainability, or you are really approaching the context of your brand identity through a very technical aspect, and maybe technology is your thing and the metaverse. So it'll be a practical but a hands-on approach to launching your brand through the identity that you explore in your creative process. So Mel, I'm going to leave the things in the chat, and when, okay, don't worry, you're letting them in. Okay, great. And I'll leave all the questions in the chat. If there's something that you need to ask me, just let me know. And I will take it from there. Sorry, the technical things have thrown me off. So as we continue, you will also be creating your advanced collection, right? And that is all about construction. And you will start with your creative process to develop where you want to go and to really build your story and come up with how and what vehicle you're going to utilize to get that out there. And the thing is, with branding and communication, you could create that process, but if you don't know how to get it out there, it's not going to be worth anything. So we really need to know how to communicate your brand and how you're really going to identify how to use not only social media, but website and digital communication as your vehicle for getting that out there. As you're doing that, you will be developing this advanced collection. And through your construction of this advanced collection, you will be making, again, 8 looks and 8 looks for your final garment collection, and 1 collaborative look based on the theme that we have for February's New York Fashion Week. You will build all along a visual reference for this collection of approaches to how you're going to do the collection and your garment finishings, and really take your creative process and how, whether it's a social reform that you're really focused on, or it's a technological thing, or you really want to focus on 3D apparel, how you're going to utilize your construction methods to visually put that out there and get it on the runway. So in this class, you will really create the advanced ability to create your own refined garments for your collections, whether it be draping or pattern making. It'll give you the craftsmanship, the time that you need, the construction techniques, and the sewing to be mentored into a collection that's strong enough to live in New York Fashion Week amongst the other collections. While we do this, we'll have something called the Career Seminar. And in the Career Seminar, we really want you to develop the skills to not only be confident and available out there through your communication and your branding skills that you created, to increase your popularity and make you stand out singularly as an unusual legend in your own right, using the essential values of really understanding a professional skill set of construction. And so then we will take all of that methodology, and in the Career Seminar, have a series of different seminars that are designed to help graduating students really find and pursue your career in fashion. So even though this is number 4 in the line, as we discussed, it'll actually happen simultaneously, because we really want to offer this collaboration to you from the get-go with these members of the fashion industry, so that you can start building your resume, networking, and really figure out who is the company that you want to work for, build those interview skills, and also build those networking skills for when you're at New York Fashion Week, you would be able to articulate how you are going to express your story verbally, as well as show it on the runway. So it's really important for you to have that solid base of the Career Seminar, which is going to help you network with the people that you really want to rub elbows with. As much as you believe that the fashion industry is so vast and so big, it's, we're in the heart of the garment district in New York City, and it's really a lot smaller than one would think. And we are here with people that are doing it right now, and we want to be able to give you that confidence and give you that level of networking. And that is why we culminate the show in New York Fashion Week, so that you can network with professionals. The way it'll work with New York Fashion Week is that at the end of the 5.5 months, you will have 2 weeks to prepare your runway collection. You will fully style your runway collection, and we will work with a collaborative agency to actually show and get in front of a huge New York Fashion Week audience. Meaning, we will do it it will be a production that will have other New York Fashion Week designers showing, so that you can get in front of not only their audience, but in front of industry professionals that will be there to do press, photography, hair and makeup, and you will accessorize everything and have everything for a New York Fashion Week that you would have if it was your own show. So the culmination of this entire program is really about getting in front of this audience of industry professionals, influencers, and academic professionals that are teaching fashion in the top fashion schools in the country. Those are the type of people and the network that will be at your New York Fashion Week show. It will be an industry show, and you will have a say in how you want the models to walk, what your hair and makeup will be, the styling of your garments, and the accessories, everything from start to finish, which we are the only school that actually culminates in New York Fashion Week and participates in New York Fashion Week. So it is a great experience and something to really work for the next 6 months of your life. And we're hoping you choose us. So a little bit about the program essentials. You could go ahead and screenshot this. This is also going to live on our website with our technical difficulties and all, so that you can go back and refer to it. But you will need to be a certificate level or higher, meaning you'll either have gotten the New York School of Design certificate, or you'll have gotten maybe an AAS in fashion design or a BFA in fashion design from another fashion related school, like perhaps FIT or Parsons. You will need to have the skill level of the foundation plus the certificate. And I'm going to run through that a little bit. So in the foundational program, you literally get what the foundation's all about. And that is your basics. You will have sewing basics in the foundation. You will have fashion illustration. You will have the elements and principles of fashion. All of those are building towards your professional program. Within the elements and principles of fashion, you first start touching on what a color story is, what your creative process is, and where you're going, articulating what it's all about. You will deep dive into that process in the creative process. But in elements and principles, you learn those mood board techniques. You explore that further in the certificate program in both color theory and textiles. The next course in foundation would be sewing basics. And in that program, you do every single stitch from start to finish. You learn how to do finishing like pleats and ruffles, and actually sew a garment start to finish, because in the certificate program, you will build a 3 to 5 piece collection and have an expo. But in the fashion design professional program, we have the expectation of an 8+1, so a 9-piece advanced collection that you'll be showing in New York Fashion Week. The third class in the foundation program is fashion illustration. And in that class, you'll really learn all of how to articulate your ideas, get them out of your head and onto the paper, and how to draw a croquis and be able to quickly sketch and articulate fabrication and movement and all of the renderings, so that you can quickly sketch and really start doing design process after design process after design process, and being able to show that in your final collections in your portfolio, which is what you move on to in certification. And in the professional level, you'll show everything from your sketch, from your idea through inception onto the runway. We really expect you to have those skills and the certification skills, which will include your digital drawing and your illustrator skills, as well as 3D design, which will only enhance your professional program. So I really want to get to the questions, because I feel like the various different aspects of all of my technology issues hasn't allowed this to flow as freely as I would have liked. So why don't we open it up to some questions, and then we could really talk about anything that might be on any of your minds. Anybody have any questions of the program, or what it's about, when it starts, prices? Just to go over prices. The professional program is $5,600 plus your runway fee. So your runway fee will probably be around $1,500. We try to keep that cost as low as possible. We don't make any money off of that. What we do is we get the best that we can get by having a collaborative show, and then we pass that savings on to you. So each person will show at least one design, and that would be a $1,500 fee. And then depending on where the market is and how much it will cost around in February and how many pieces we have in the show, it'll scale between $1,500 and $2,500. But just to give a perspective of that, if you take our foundation program, our certificate program, and our professional program, and you add the costs for all of it, to have a show in New York Fashion Week would be tens of thousands of dollars, especially with the lighting, the sound, the hair and makeup, the models. This is all done for you because we want to see you accelerate. And we want to see you go from the foundational level straight through the professional. And when I tell you that all of these images are New York School of Design people, I'll just give you an example. Like Linda, if you guys have been to one of the webinars before, she started in our foundation program. She came from another country, and she did our foundation program, and she moved on to our certification program, and she went on to show in New York Fashion Week. So this is a track that you can go on. You could start, and in a year and a half from knowing not knowing how to sew to actually showing in New York Fashion Week. This is not a thing that a lot of people can say in their life. So it's a huge opportunity, and we're really excited that we're going to get this going again after such a long time in a pandemic. And if we compare it to even a matriculated fashion school that might be competitive, we could say that our full program for all three levels would be less of the cost than 1 year at FIT or even one semester at Parsons, including your New York Fashion Week runway show. Okay, so I see there's some other questions in the chat. Mel,
we have some questions.
Okay, awesome.
I have a question from Diana B.
Okay.
Is college credit accepted from another college, or do you have to start all over when attending?
Okay, great question. So you definitely do not have to start all over. We want professionals in this program. You have to be at a level that you can actually articulate where it is you want to go with your brand identity. And you have to be at the level that you can be mentored and self-motivated in your process. So an AAS or a BFA is absolutely acceptable. If you do have, Diana, do you actually have a degree, or do you have a portfolio yet?
No, I don't have a portfolio, but I am finishing my associates. So that's why I'm asking, because I looked up the different, basically classes that require to get to the AAS, which can also be the same as where I'm taking it. So it's, the same, but just different names, basically.
Absolutely. So you would need to submit a portfolio for review. and you would need to have the prerequisites that you would have for the program. And those include definitely the classes and the classwork that we have in our foundation and our certificate program. So you would need to know how to sketch. You would need to know how to sew. And you would need to know how to create color stories and mood boards and, you know, at least the beginning aspects of your brand identity, meaning, are you ready? Do you have a logo? Do you understand your target market? Do you know what you're selling and who you're selling towards? So we would need to see that you can articulate that in your portfolio. So you are absolutely, if you have an AAS or a BFA, you are eligible to enter this program as long as you meet the prerequisites of our certification program. So do you also have Illustrator skills?
No.
Okay, so there's some people that are interested in the program, and you might just need certain aspect of our certificate level programming. But here's the things that you'll need. You'll need to be able to sketch and then create your flats, okay? And so when we think about, I'll go back to our various levels. So in our certificate, in our foundation program, we do that elements and principles, right? That basic mood board, really understanding where we get to our design inspiration, the very beginning of our creative process, right? And then we do that illustration class, and we really start to develop our own style so that by the end of the class, we create a movement with our fabrics, and we're able to actually draw something technically elongated like we would in a fashion croquis. So we know that in a human figure, we would be drawing a 7-head figure, but in a fashion figure, it's 9 heads tall. It's that elongated figure so that you can really show the movement and articulate the fabrication. And then that in the last part of that class in the foundation, we start really honing in on the digital aspects so that you can move on to certification, which will include your graphic design. You must, as a fashion designer, need to know, and I'll quote our 3D teacher who did a webinar, and she said, knowing Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and the program is like an artist having a pencil. That is how essential it is to a fashion designer. You really need to know how to articulate your drawings in a flat sketch so that you can send it from your idea through your sketch, create your flat, and send it straight through to manufacturing. And that is what you really encompass when you understand digital design, which is offered during our certificate program. If you are missing any of the pieces of either your color, mood, textile aspect, or textile branding aspect, or your illustration or digital aspect, or the sewing, the basic sewing, the advanced sewing, draping, and pattern making, if you don't have all of those under your umbrella in your tool belt, there might be some classes that you need to take in order to move on to the professional program. Does that make sense? Diana, did I go all the way around it?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have those digital skills, you need those digital skills. And listen, if you haven't taken those digital skills and you haven't taken 3D design, our certificate program is incredible in the sense that once you take fashion illustration for a fashion designer, and that's going to encompass the Adobe suite, and really focus in and hone your skills in Adobe Illustrator. And then you take 3D design, which you'll be able to create your own avatar. And your avatar can be your size and your color. And you can actually drape your fabrication and enter your fabrics, different aspects of your fiber content so that it actually shows 3-dimensionally and all the way around, it shows the actual fabric laying correctly, and your portfolio is just exponentially better as a designer. It's really worth it for you to have those skills under your belt, and it's necessary for you to be in this program. It's going to be rigorous, so you have to have those basic skills under your belt first. Okay, Mel, give me another question.
Okay, I have a question from Moni. I would like to have an idea on how to start a fashion business.
Well, that's literally what this program's all about. You know, you can't start a fashion business overnight. First, you need those basic skills, and that's what we're giving you. So let's talk about it this way. The foundation is like dipping your foot into the pond, right? And saying, oh, okay, I like this. I'm learning how to sew. I know how to thread the machine. I know what to do when the needle breaks. I know how to create a garment start to finish, a real simplified garment. I know how to sketch my ideas now. I really understand how to create a mood board, and I understand where my strengths and weaknesses lie. And then the certificate program is like actually going into the pond, lifting your pants up, pulling them up, going in, saying, you know what, I'm going to take a little dip. I'm going to try to make a collection. I'm going to do a 3 to 5 piece collection. I'm going to really focus on how do I do that collection? I'm going to focus on construction skills. I'm going to focus on my sewing. I'm going to learn how to pattern make. I'm going to learn how to drape and then take that drape and make a flat pattern from it. And then I'm going to be able to sew that. So my sewing level is going to really exponentially increase, right? I'm also going to really understand the color theory behind how important branding and communication is in 2022 and beyond, and really understand how I'm going to take that color story and how that's going to influence my consumer marketing capabilities to really articulate what it is I want to talk about within the industry and make sure that it's relevant to what's happening today. And then take it a step further with my textiles, and maybe I'm going to go with like a new creative textile that's sustainable, because that's really one of the values that I decided I wanted and started way back in my Elements and Principles class. Then I'm going to learn how to take my sketches, scan them into the computer, and refine them so that when I send them to my manufacturer, or maybe it's my mom and pop seamstress in Brooklyn that's going to sew this garment for me, she's going to understand exactly where my seam allowance is going to be. She's going to know how much my seam allowance is going to be. She's going to understand where the pocket is going to fall, where the dart is going to stop, and I'm going to be able to actually technically design a product. Then I'm going to take it a step even further. This is still in certification, and I'm going to 3-dimensionally design my products so that if I wanted to participate in perhaps digital fashion week, I could go ahead and do that, because I don't need to even hire a model. I could actually create an avatar that expresses what I stand for, the values I stand for, the story I want to tell with the model that I want to tell it with. And then I'll be able to articulate all of those things that I developed all along in this 3-dimensional format, and be able to create a portfolio so that I could say, hey, Isabella, I'm ready to be in professional. Here's my portfolio. And you could show me from start to finish that you had this idea, you created this mood board around it, you were able to sketch it, you were able to sew it, you were able to drape it, you were able to create this flat pattern from it. And now you're ready to create a bigger collection, a 9-piece collection, and show in New York Fashion Week. So how do you start your business? You start there. You get your certificate level basic training, right? So that you could either at that point say, I'm going to try to go out on my own or be an assistant designer, or I'm going to build my skill level to a professional level, that I could actually start my own business based on this 3-step approach that's really going to be helpful to you. And the research in this 3-step approach, sorry, this is blocking, is really going to be important for you to say, hey, you know what? This is what this designer is doing, and they're really doing it well. And maybe you want to take part of their strategy, their construction strategy. Maybe you want to take part of their business strategy, and then you want to superimpose it on your creative process. But you're going to need to know at least these basic developmental skills of not only your process and be able to construct your pieces quickly, but also create the brand identity and not understand how to communicate it out there to the world at large, because we are no longer in an omni-channel presence, right? everything is omni-channel. We are all one. We have just all on a global level experienced the pandemic for 2 years and now buying social commerce. So we're really going to help you hone in on what is happening right now in 2022 and beyond, and how do you communicate your ideas out there to a larger scale audience, right? As an emerging designer, you need to have not only a community behind you, but you need to have the support of the mentorship that we give you through not only our classes, but through our career seminars. These are people that have worked for Dior, that are doing couture right now and have been doing so for a couple of decades. This is important for you to develop this skill level before you just, it's not as easy, unfortunately, as having an idea and just getting out there. Okay. Did I answer that question? Who was the question by, Mel? Sorry.
That was by Moni.
Did I answer your question, or do you want to, ask me anything else? You really need these levels in order to start your own brand. You need to be at the professional level, and you need to know, all of the skills, the construction skills and the business, the branding and the communication skills. Because like I said, if you could be the best designer, right? But if you don't have a vehicle to get it out there, if you don't understand how significant and valuable these various channels are that used to be so separate, like social media and website and YouTube, and now they're all one. And we really need to be consistent across the board.
Okay, let's go to the next one. We have a few more. I have a question by Lucila. Will the days that we have to attend to class be the same days / times from August to February?
No, for the first 3 months, Mel, can you put it in the chat what days our classes are? I think it was it Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, or Monday, Wednesday, Saturday?
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Okay, so that's going to be the first 3 months, and then it will be, I don't know if it'll be the exact same days, but you will start with creative process and advanced construction for these first 3 months, and you will really, really focus on that. And then you will formulate your brand identity and communication, and you will work further on that in the secondary aspect, along with continuing your advanced construction, right? Because that's what it's all about, basically, is getting your collection done and, having it be up to par to show in New York Fashion Week.
All right, let's see. I have a question from Chiamaka. Okay. It says, I have some knowledge in fashion already. I have my brand here in Africa. What would you advise I begin with? I was thinking design professional.
Yeah, it sounds like you're ready for design professional. I know we talked a little bit about it. I would need to see your portfolio, and then the board will review it. And we will let you know if there's anything that maybe needs strengthening, then we'll let you know. But I think that you're ready for professional level. And the thing is that if you do need strengthening in an area, so I know a lot of people who have taken an AAS, an AAS in fashion design, and they want to retake digital or simultaneously with the professional program.
Okay. All right.
Construction-wise, you would really need that skill level first.
Can you hear me, Isabella?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's go to the next question by Julian. Julian is asking, do you offer any degrees for your programs or only certificates?
We are a short-term trade school. As such, we are accredited by the New York State Higher Education Bureau, and BPSS and the middle states. And so you are getting a certificate, and it is based on skill level. It is based on hours, not credits. So it is not a degree. It is a credit system, and it is a skill level. And you know, you might want to do some research in 2022. People are more concerned with what you can bring them to the table and what you can offer than a degree in and of itself. And even all your degrees don't necessarily get you New York Fashion Week. But just to go back to Larg Lindo, which is interesting, Julian, if you want to go back and get your BFA, that could definitely be a career path for you. And what Larg Linda did is, like I said, she had come from Kosovo. She did our programming. She did all 3 levels and showed in New York Fashion Week. And then she started her own company. So as Diana had asked, she started her own small design firm. And then after she had met all of these people at New York Fashion Week, she expanded her network. She was able to articulate her brand through her branding and communication. She went back and decided she wanted to get her BFA from FIT. And so that's what she's doing right now. But she went in there as instead of being a little fish in a big sea, she was a big fish in a little sea for a very extended period during her 2 years at New York School of Design. And then she went there and she already knew these connections. So upon first entering, she's already shown in Macy's, she did Macy's Flower Week. And, you know, she just has the experience and the skill level that will make you stand out in a school like FIT and Parsons. And a lot of our students do choose to move on to a matriculated school. But particularly for FIT, because it's a very different process than Parsons, for the portfolio aspect, you will actually have the skill levels to make it into FIT once you actually take all of our coursework at NYSD, because they have the expectation that you know how to sew, you know how to draw, you know how to do these things upon entering. Parsons is a little bit different, and we do actually work with both schools, and we have some webinars. If you look at, and Mel, if you could put this in the chat, the New York School of Design, our website at nysd.edu/events. You could actually see our upcoming event, and then you could hit nysd.edu/events-past, and you could see all these webinars that we have done, and we've done them with both FIT and Parsons, and we really explain what it takes to get to these schools that are #1 in the country for fashion. It takes the skill building that you'll do for FIT, it's actual skill in construction, and for Parsons, it's actual skill in creative process that you'll need to get into these schools. So if you want a degree and that's important to you, we could help be a vehicle to get you there as well.
Also from Julian would like to know, would we get to work with any professionals and entrepreneurs in the foundation program?
Oh yeah, in the foundation program are some of the people that you will actually get to work with in the professional program. So for example, Susanna worked for Dior. She teaches at Parsons Paris, Parsons New York City, and FIT. So you are working with the same professors that are teaching at these schools. And just to, again, make it really clear, our entire professional program is literally the cost of 1 year at FIT, less than 1 year at FIT. So a year at FIT is $26,000. A year at Parsons, a semester. A year at Parsons, oh no, that's a year, right, Mel? And a year at Parsons is $53,000 for 1 year, and you need 4 of those to graduate. For under $20,000, you would be getting the foundation, the certificate, and the professional level with the same professors that are teaching at these same colleges for a tenth of the
fraction of the price.
Yeah, fraction of the price. And we make sure that we keep our classes small. We are a small, intimate school. And when you think about, so if we go back to Sintel here, right, you see him right here, he actually did our full program. He did foundation, certificate, and professional, showed in New York Fashion Week. And then he went on to Project Runway. And one of the best things about our construction studios, and you'll see them at New York School of Design, is that once you graduate from our program, you are able to come and utilize our studio space whenever there's not class. you know, as someone who graduated from FIT, it's my alma mater, I know that it is incredibly difficult to even get studio time when you're in the middle of a draping class, never mind to get in there to have free studio time. Centel built his entire collection for Project Runway at New York School of Design. You can do that too.
Okay, let's see. I have a question from Joelle. Can I apply with a high school certificate and a portfolio?
For professional?
I would assume that they mean this question to the school in general, considering what we just went over with the professional program. I'm just taking the questions in order.
Yeah, Joel, if you want to take yourself off mute and articulate exactly what you mean by that, you can absolutely apply for, okay, so it works this way. The barrier to entry increases as we get from the foundation to the certificate to the professional. So foundation barrier of entry, super low. All you have to do is have the passion that you always want to be in fashion, and you have to have the time and maybe the money, right? And the tools. It's only $2,500. It's the first 3 months. It's really going to set you up for the next year of your life. And you're going to get your foundation of fashion. You're going to dip your foot in the pond. You're going to say, hey, this is really where I want to be. The next level is certificate. So you can skip foundation if you already know how to sew and you already know how to design, how to draw, okay? And create a mood board. That's the only way you could skip foundation. You will have to show us samples of your sewing, both far away and close up, and you will have to show us samples of your sketches. And then we'll be honest with you whether you need to take foundation or not. Again, we're in a New York Minute. We want you to finish quickly. We want to make this happen for you. The certificate level, you can skip certificate level if you have a great construction skill level, meaning you are able to not only do advanced sewing, but you're able to drape and flat pattern make with ease, and you're able to start grading your garments. Okay, if you don't understand what that is, then you definitely aren't ready for professional. You will also need to know how to start your brand identity, really understand intense value of color theory and why it is important for you and your branding, and to really understand the digital aspect, including Adobe Illustrator for fashion design, which is very different than Adobe Illustrator as a graphic designer, and really be able to articulate that through your digital designs, as well as your digital mood boards, your color stories, your use of textiles, your multimedia aspects, and really have a full portfolio. When you have a full portfolio that shows idea through inception, meaning pieces, pictures of your final work, then you are ready for professional. What I should say, and what I think I failed to mention earlier, is that the certificate program, when you culminate the certificate program, we have the expectation of a 3 to 5 piece collection, and there will be an expo that happens. At that expo, you have a professional photo shoot 2 weeks prior to the expo. And then at the expo, it's a live audience of being at the school, being able to invite your friends and family, as well as industry professionals, to come and see your final works and your portfolio all the way through. The professional level is an industry-only event that we have top-tier magazines that are going to be there, top-tier photographers. You will have everything that you need to actually do the PR, the lighting, the music that you can choose at a professional level New York Fashion Week runway show that will actually occur on February 9th or around that date. So if you have, what was the question? If you have to have a portfolio. If you could say that you have all of those things for certificate in your portfolio, then you can apply for the professional level. But we would have to look at that, review it, and then let you know which maybe classes you need a refresher, which classes perhaps you're missing, and fill those holes to get you to the professional level as quickly as possible. Now, remember, if you guys do need to take any certificate or foundational level courses, then you would show in the following Fashion Week, which would be September maybe 2023.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I have a question from Emmanuel. Emmanuel says, I am more of a model and I would like to participate in the runway. Please, can I have some recommendations?
Sure, we could definitely email. So I put my email in the chat. You could email me and we could talk about it. But we use professional models for the show, and everybody in New York Fashion Week is done through an agency. So I could definitely point you in the right direction.
Perfect. All right. Franklin Joseph, what's the deadline to enroll for the foundation program?
We're doing this today as an extension. So ASAP, Franklin, you should like email me today and we'll get you moving and grooving in a New York minute and we'll get you started and situated. The program starts August 8th. You will need to apply. It's $100 application fee. And listen, if you're unsure whether you need any,
asked about the foundation program that starts in September.
What'd you say?
The foundation program starts in September.
Oh, is she asking about the foundation program?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, our foundation program starts September 19th. And we still have some open spots for September 19th. Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, you have until August 30th to apply for the foundation program that starts in September.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait that long if you don't have to, because it is a process. And thanks, Esther, for that catch. You're amazing. It definitely starts with applying, right? And no matter what you apply to online, this is for everybody. If you're applying for professional and you might not be sure if you need some of the certificate classes, go ahead and apply. We could use that application fee for either foundation or certificate. So it's, you won't lose that money. We could utilize it for wherever you need it.
Okay, let's see. I have 3 more. Sure. I have a question from Anna. If you don't want to design your personal brand, but want to eventually work for a fashion house, what do you recommend as a starter?
Yeah, so I absolutely recommend that you need a certificate level and really develop your skills so that you can graduate from our certificate and be an assistant designer. The goal is that when you graduate from our certificate level classes, you are ready to assist or start on a much smaller scale. When you graduate the professional level, then you're ready to actually go out on your own. But you need that time. We know to become a master, you need to really put in the time. You need 10,000 hours, right? And this is where you start paying, not necessarily in sweat, but yeah, sometimes it'll be sweat. You'll be cursing at the sewing machine, or I would anyway.
Okay, I have a question from Kasoa. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Do you help people get the student visa when they apply?
Okay, we do not help you get student visas, but I will tell you that we are a short-term trade school. We're accredited by New York State. And what you would do is you would come here on a tourist visa. A lot of tourist visas will last the entire 6 months. Okay. If you are from a place like Chile that only has a 3-month visa, my suggestion to you is take the first quarter, because we run by quarters. Every 3 months is a new quarter. Take the first quarter online. And the second quarter, you can take in person, which, thank you so much for asking this question, because one of the things that I was remiss in telling you is that all of our classes are recorded. So after the class is recorded, it's going to live on our eStudio, our learning platform, for the duration of your quarter. And so if you feel like you need to go back and review something and maybe you weren't mentally present that day, you can go ahead and do that, which is like an amazing feature. So you can take part of the coursework from your home country and part of the coursework here. Does that answer your question? But it would be on a tourist visa. Right now, we do not have the designation for a student visa. So we won't help you with that, but we will tell you, make sure that you apply for a tourist visa. And then when you get accepted to our program, that does help you get a visa appointment quicker, knowing that you want to come here on a tourist visa and take our programming, which is perfectly legal. And it might help you, you know, your admittance letter usually helps get an appointment for that visa quicker than, you know, without an admittance letter. But do not apply for a student visa. Apply for a tourist visa.
All right. And now we have a question from Chloe. Are NYSD certificate hours able to be transferred to other organizations such as FIT?
They actually take it into account more and more. And like I said, if you go on our nysd.edu events/past, we worked with the head of admissions with FIT to really explain to you that they want to see your portfolio and they want to see your skill level. So they definitely take it into account, because the last few people that we've had apply, that have gotten in, thanks to some of our great professors, I really owe it all to them, that really they've been asking to send their transcripts over. So they definitely take it into account. Does it apply to their accreditation and your credit hours? No, because we are skill hours and we go by time and they go by credits. So it's different, but it absolutely helps. You don't want to go into a school that is the most competitive school in the world without having at least a certificate level of training, because you will be lost and you will be looked over. And I will say it over and over, big fish, little C, little fish, big C. So in an FIT class, we'll have at least 26 students. At NYSD, we barely have between 12 and 14 students in our class. That's a big difference. That means that you could work with these same professors who are at that school where you want to be on a smaller level to really develop your creative process and develop your constructional skills. And if that's what you want to do, that'll help get you there. And for a fraction of the price, like Mel said. Thank you guys for staying extra. Sorry that we're going over, but I want to make sure we answer everybody's questions, because I know a lot of you probably have the same questions.
Yes, we have a last question that just popped up. Is from Joel again, or Joel, I'm sorry. Can I take the certificate program with a tourist visa?
Yes, absolutely. That's what you need to take it with, is a tourist visa. Yes.
So if you're interested, you still have time to apply. Go to our website, nysd.edu. I will put the link once again and make sure to apply ASAP.
Yeah. So, and you could apply to any program, because I know a lot of you are interested in moving forward to professional, and maybe you need to start in foundation. And, you know, we want to meet you where you're at, because we want you to develop so that we could have, just like we have Centel, we want to brag about you. Okay, so if you haven't already liked, followed, shared, please follow us on Instagram. We're at NYS Design on Facebook and LinkedIn. We're New York School of Design. And yeah, that's our basic email, and our personal emails are in the chat. And definitely take a look at our different programming and see what works for you. And if you need to talk more and you feel uncomfortable talking in front of everybody, definitely reach out, and we make appointments every day so we can get you situated. Again, professional starts August 8th. Foundation and certificate starts September 19th. And then runs every 3 months. And you will be able to still get in. If you take foundation, maybe you'll do next February or you'll do next September Fashion Week. So Fashion Week always is going to culminate, you know, directly coinciding the real New York Fashion Week. And then we start our new programming for foundation and certificate every 3 months. Any other questions? I see the chat like has more.
No, I was putting our email addresses, the start of the foundation and certificate, and the start of the professional program in case anybody wanted to see it.
Yes, and Joan, there will be a recording that will probably go up within 24 hours on our website. And again, you could look at nysd.edu/events-past, and Mel's going to put that in the chat as well. Well, thank you guys for staying for the full hour. Sorry about our technical difficulties. I really look forward to talking to more of you about what your process is going to be, how that's going to look like, and how we can tailor it to suit your needs and get you out there working and recognized in the fashion industry. Really excited where it's going to go. Thank you so much for coming, and we will talk via email.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Mel.
Bye.
Thank you for all the technical difficulty.